Like we have said, Kayunga residents could be responsible for some of their problems. This is because some of their harmful activities like grass burning, indiscriminate tree cutting and overgrazing. Such practices leave the soil bare and running water goes off with the soil nutrients. Acute water shortage has been made worse by the fact that many of the people live in grass-thatched houses which do not support large-scale water harvesting.
This is how some areas a few kilometers from Kayunga town looked like towards the end of the dry spell recently. One may think that the whole district was struck at once and recovered at the same time from the long dry spell. Grass is growing and animals may soon have adequate pasture. Earlier, the meteorology department had warned that this area would not receive rain. And as we drove deeper into the villages in Kayunga district towards River Nile, this warning was evident. After Galiraya sub-county, the effect of the scorching sun is clear on the grass that has turned pale yellowish brown and the trees leafless. People burn some of the grass believing that if it rains once or twice, the grass grows faster. But this has a dire implication like soil erosion. In December last year, the Met Department issued an alert that the dry spells would continue to the end of May. But it seems the people here did not heed and remained unprepared. Traditionally, people store produce like maize, beans, millet and peas in granaries to be used at a time of shortage. But most families produce only what they can consume within a short period. The empty granaries here show it all. Even some families that had reserved food for the future found it hard to carry on till the next harvest season, after when the skies open again. The Kayunga District Agriculture Department advised people to grow more drought-resistant crops like yams and cassava.
Our advice was that at least much as you could go into irrigation and water conservation measures when you're growing the cash crops like maize or pineapples, but we advise them to be on the secure side. They should have some piece of land left for yams as a food security crop.
Residents were also told in advance to till their land and wait for the rain, which were predicted to fall for a short period. Even with some rain falling now, it will take time for the crops to be ready for harvest. This means people will struggle to find what to eat for more than 3 months.
Our biggest worry is hunger, yet money is scarce.
We found this mother of 3 preparing a kilogram of maize, which she bought at 1,000 shillings. This is cheaper than buying a kilogram of maize flour at 1,600. The maize is eaten without beans and in small portions so as to cover 2 meals. It's lunchtime for another family living far from Galiraya towards Kayunga town. They have cassava bread accompanied with white ants, usually collected during the rain season. The children seem to enjoy the meal, only it's not clear whether they will have another one soon.
The sunshine caused considerable damage. Now the children may have to live on that food until tomorrow.
In an effort to stem this crisis, government through the NAD's food security program gives seeds of choice to 100 families from every parish to grow.
We believe that with the increased intervention, government intervention, Kayunga is going to be better.
But it's not just about food. The dry spells, which become intense every year, lead to scarcity of water, making life hard for the people and their animals. Like in many places, there is more supply of piped water in town than villages, yet the majority of people live in the villages.
We have planned to construct 9 deep boreholes, which are already drilled, 4 hand dug wells, and we are rehabilitating 13 boreholes.
Statistics from the Kayunga District Water Department show that remote areas of Kayunga have 351 boreholes and 133 shallow wells to serve 301,000 people, but only 155,000 have access to these water sources. Constructing a borehole costs over 14.5 million shillings. But there is also another challenge of a low waterbed in some areas, where water to supply the boreholes runs dry faster.
That means we need to go for some other technologies, as I said, rainwater harvesting.
But the most affected homesteads have grass-thatched houses. For many kilometers, one can hardly see iron roofs or mabati houses from which one can easily harvest rainwater, which could sustain a family of 5 for a week.
The government has programs where there are Borobogawale programs and so on, where they are trying to look at communities' welfare is improved.
Surprisingly, Kayunga is surrounded by River Nile and Lake Victoria. In this human struggle for life, the animals suffer as well.
One of the major economic activities here in Kayunga district is cattle rearing. But the people say they have not received rainfall for the last 4 months and do not know when this state of affairs will come to an end. But their problems vary. Some of the herdsmen have the water for their animals and lack the pasture, while others do not have any of the two. They all say they are in a desperate situation that needs desperate measures.
Herdsmen and their animals trek for long distance in search of water and pasture. Obviously, the animals are in poor health and can barely find grass to graze. Environmentalists attribute some of these conditions to human activities like tree felling and charcoal burning, an economic activity.
Our cattle don't have grass to graze, and even where they would have, there are gardens.
The entire Kayunga district has 13 valley dams built in 1950s and 60s. Out of these, only 7 are functional. But the district production officer, David Mugabe, believes it is high time farmers acted in a business-like manner by putting aside some money to construct their own dams.
When these communal points are stressed, at least those ones who have the capacity to have the private ones are able to have water for their livestock. Then the few who are not able will access from the communal sources.
We constructed 2 dams, but they have all dried up.
In normal times, an average cow here goes for about 250,000 shillings, but during the dry season, a cow can be sold for a pitiful 50,000. So, one needs to sell over 60 heads of cattle to construct a dam, which needs about 3 million shillings on average. Even the few available dams here have dried up. This means the future of the cattle keepers here and other people will always bleak if nothing is done to improve the conditions. Sudil Biarhanga, NTV.
It is not all doom and gloom in Kayunga. In some areas, grass is now growing and the animals can graze in lush green pasture, meaning farmers can get value for money in cattle sales. The people also have to change from their harmful practices to keep the integrity of the soil and grow drought-resistant crops. They also need to construct more valley dams to insulate themselves from the ravages of drought. I'm Sudil Biarhanga for NTV Connect.